guys, welcome to another episode of Science with Sam and Stacey. Today is all about lava lamps. Now you guys might not know what that is, but luckily Stacey has got a whole experiment planned, and so not only are you going to learn about it, but you're going to get to make your own. So we'll go to Stacey now.
Hi, welcome back. We're going to be talking today again about density. If you've watched some of our other videos, we were talking about why things float and why things sink, and it's that things with higher density, gravity has more of a pull on it. Today, we're actually going to be doing more experiments. This one, we're making two different types of lava lamps, and they work by different kind of opposite reactions. So we're going to start, they both require oil and water, which have different densities. So the first one, we're going to use water, salt, food coloring, and oil. So we fill up our jar about 3/4 full. Okay, so we have a jar with some water in it, and you don't really need food coloring to do these experiments, but it always looks kind of cool if we can make it look like lava. So I'm going to add a few drops of red food coloring. I love watching it swirl. Can you see that? As the food coloring dissipates into the water. Now, so we have red food coloring. We're going to add a little bit of oil at the top of our water. So it should work out to about 1/4 cup of oil. You see how it's floating to the top? I love watching the oil go in. It doesn't want to mix, does it? So when it goes into the water, it stays in its own little bubble and floats back up to the top. So now we clearly have a layer of oil and a layer of water in there. Now, in order to make this look like a lava lamp, if you don't know what a lava lamp is, it's something that was very popular in the past. And what it was a jar that has oil and wax in it. And it had a light bulb in the bottom. And when it heated up from the light bulb, the wax would float to the top, cool down, and come back around. And they looked really cool, except they were really dangerous. So they don't make them anymore. So that's why we're going to do it this way. It's a little safer. Now, in order for this reaction to happen, we're going to use salt. So we're going to use a spoonful of salt. I'm going to do it over this because I'm probably going to spill. Yep. I'm glad I did it over the container. Okay. So I have about a teaspoon of salt. And I haven't tried this before, but they say if you drop a teaspoon of salt on top, it's going to grab some of the oil and take it to the bottom. And now if you watch as the salt dissolves in the water, the oil is going to get released and float back up to the top. Let's see if it works. This is happening very slowly. I'm going to try again with more of a sprinkle of salt. So that was much less salt. So it's grabbing onto the oil, falling down, and then the oil is coming back up. All right, this one, not super exciting compared to some of the other ones I've seen. Let's try the next version. Okay, so now for this lava lamp, again, we're gonna add some water to a clear jar. This time we're gonna go probably less than halfway. So about 1 cup of water maybe in this size of jar, but you want it to just be a couple inches at the bottom. Again, we wanna make it look cool. So we're gonna add a couple drops of red food coloring. And we're going to add some oil. So this time we're going to fill the jar a little more oil than there is water, kind of opposite to what we had in the last one. So now we're going to give that a minute. All of those bubbles in there are oil that are surrounded by water. So they're going to separate. The water is going to pull downwards, the oil is going to lift up because oil has less density than the water. Now to make this experiment happen, we're going to use Alka-Seltzer tablets. So these are for if you've got a stomach ache or something like that. So they are medicine, so make sure you ask your parents before you use these. And we're going to take half of one of these tablets, about half. And now, what these do is when you take them, if you have a stomach ache, they bubble up and they're supposed to make you feel better. Okay, so here we go. We're going to drop half an Alka-Seltzer tablet into the oil and water. So you can see the reaction happening already. The tablet is bubbling up, and it's actually grabbing onto water molecules and pulling them up through the oil. And the water gets to the top, the air, the gas that's causing it to float evaporates, and the water has to fall back down. So you can see the water going up. Once the bubbles evaporate, the water drops fall back down. So this one's really cool to watch. You can also use whatever type of food coloring in the bottom you want and make it look like an ocean in a jar. Add some sparkles or whatever you want to it. But this is definitely a cool reaction. So let's take a look at them side by side here. So our salt one, let's try another little tiny bit of salt here. So it has larger bubbles. So what the salt is doing is carrying the oil to the bottom, and then you can see almost those mountains on the bottom. And the mountains are the oil trying to get out of the salt as it dissolves. And then this one was the Alka-Seltzer pulling the water from the bottom to the top. You can still see little bubbles still going. Now, what do you think will happen? Let's try throwing some Alka-Seltzer into the one with the salt and the water. Let's give it a try. So right now we have some little salty oil mountains in the bottom. Okay, so the oil that was down there is starting to get pushed up to the top, as well as the water getting stuck on the gas bubbles going all the way to the top of the oil. So that's kind of neat. So when you're talking about density and you're pulling oil and water to opposite sides of each other, they naturally want to separate. But there's definitely some really cool things you can do by using chemical reactions and salt to change the density. And you can have all sorts of fun with homemade lava lamps. Just don't put the lids on because there is gas being created inside there and it needs somewhere to escape. So make sure you've got your parents with you whenever you do an experiment like this, and have fun. We'll see you next time on Science with Sam and Stacey. Bye.
Did you see that? I kind of love those experiments, especially the one with the salt where it just pulled the oil down and it kind of snuck its way back up. Pretty cool. Now, I have a lava lamp that I brought for you guys. It's mine from home, and it's a little older, and they're a lot safer than they used to be. So it's completely different. It's not exactly like a lava lamp that you'd see in perhaps a video, but it's pretty fun. So I'll show you the video now. I just have to take it downstairs so you can see it. Bye.